Week 1 of the preseason is in the books, and Solly, we need to break down two Cleveland Browns defensive rookies. There was some good, some bad. Let's start with Greedy Williams, their first pick, which came in the second round. Came out of LSU. We said he was the best man coverage corner in the entire draft, but he's going to a zone-heavy scheme in Cleveland, and we got to see some of the good and bad when it comes to playing zone and transitioning to the NFL.
And remember, Steve, Greedy Williams, one of the reasons why he fell from the first round to the second round is because while he excels at press man-to-man, tends to struggle in zone coverage, and we saw that in the Cleveland Browns' very first preseason game. If we go ahead and take a look at it right here, they're in what we call cover 4. They're in half-field coverage at the bottom of the screen, or what we call quarters coverage at the top. He's got to stay deep here. That's his section of the field. From the numbers to the sideline, he allows one of the receivers to go scot-free for a touchdown, so that's a busted coverage. Again, at the top of the screen, you get quarters coverage, okay? And so Greedy Williams has to stay deep in his zone, but he bites on the underneath route and allows the receiver to get deep behind him, giving up an easy touchdown. This frustrates coaches all around the National Football League. One of your best players busting a coverage, you can't give up touchdowns. Look at the coach running there in the middle. I got to cover the guy. So that's where Greedy Williams has to do a better job playing zone coverage, understanding that depth. If it's friend, you got to stay deep as the deepest.
Yeah, especially on this. This was third and long.
Yeah.
And, a lot of times when we evaluate corners coming out, you only focus on the man coverage, but half the plays in the NFL are zone principles where you have to understand receivers, you have to understand depth, you have to understand, hey, I'm not just covering grass, right? You have to know what's happening around you. So that awareness is really important.
Very good point. You have to stay deep, and that way your eyes have to be in the right place. You have to see all the receivers to your side of the field.
Where were his eyes? That's what I'm wondering here.
Yeah, if you take a look at it right here, see, one, he's not deep enough. He's got to have greater depth, but see, his eyes are in the backfield and not on the man who's running right by him. And so if he had depth, he could also see the receiver and quarterback simultaneously because he could have great peripheral vision if he has depth. When you lose depth, now you get kind of lost in the fog. You're looking in at the quarterback, and you allow the receiver to run by you.
All right, so it did get better for Greedy Williams. We'll show you one other play. It was a slightly different coverage, but same thing, zone principles, and he makes a bit of an adjustment later in the game. All right, so Greedy did pick up an interception later in the game. Fellow rookie Dwayne Haskins at quarterback, bit of an overthrow, and Greedy takes advantage of it. What happened later? How did this adjustment work for Greedy Williams during the game?
Well, first of all, they're, again, in another zone coverage defense, this time a 3-deep zone. Greedy's going to be at the bottom of the screen. His job is to cover that deep third zone to his side of the field. Here he does a much better job. If you go ahead and roll it, you can see he stays deep, and that's why he could see the receiver, and then we intercept all tips and overthrows. This ball is clearly overthrown. He could see the receiver, the quarterback, and the ball simultaneously because he has great depth here. Once the ball's overthrown, all he has to do is catch it. And so he does a much better job in zone coverage of maintaining depth and having his eyes in the right place. He could see the receiver and the quarterback. That's why he saw this ball coming right at him. And look at that. Easy interception for Greedy Williams. So we saw him struggle early in the game, but what you want to see with rookie defensive backs, if you make the mistake early, go ahead and recover and improve and show that you can overcome those early failures.
Yeah, if Greedy's going to live up to the hype, he's going to have to continue this improvement, right? And there's a little difference. Cover 3, quarters, there's all different styles that you have to learn. Whereas press man, you're just doing the same thing over, just cover the guy in front of you, right? So there's a lot of different things to learn transition into the NFL.
That's right, Steve.
So now let's check out Mack Wilson. He didn't have any blips. He was the highest graded defensive rookie in the entire NFL. Let's take a look at some of his big plays. All right, here's Mack Wilson, a 5th-round pick for the Cleveland Browns. There were major question marks because even coming out of Alabama, highly touted recruit, he hits hard, he does a lot of things extremely well, but the questions were, in a pass-heavy NFL, can he play in coverage? And I know it's just 1 week, but the Browns look like they may have gotten a steal based off the way Mack Wilson played in this first game.
He had an outstanding PFF grade of over 90. And you're right, he answered the questions right away. Can he cover the speedy running backs coming out of the backfield? Can he stick with the tight ends? Well, in his very first preseason game, he proved that he can get that done. Look at his vision on the running back in the backfield. That's his man-to-man coverage. Now watch this. That's tremendous ball skills, athleticism to cover a running back in space to keep his vision inside while still seeing his man-to-man responsibility and playing the ball in the air. Now watch what he does after he catches it. This is going next level. The ability to return it and get a pick six in your very first preseason game as a rookie. Answering the questions that plagued him coming into the draft that saw him drop all the way to the 5th round.
Yeah, and I think when you look at the route combination too, there's a slant coming under him just from a technique standpoint.
Yep.
They're running that slant, essentially as a
rub.
The offense calls it a rub, right?
Yeah,
so he does a good job of avoiding the slant. And you mentioned eyes on the quarterback, then makes the play, then finish it. This is next level type of stuff.
That's what we call complete awareness, high football IQ, as you probably have heard it mentioned. He understands that his eyes has to be on his man-to-man coverage, which is the running back coming on what we call a wheel route, where you run to the sideline, then turn it up. But he understands he can't be picked or knocked off his coverage angles by that wide receiver outside running that slant route. So he's aware of the route the running back is running, also of the pick that the receiver wants to run on him. So he gets underneath that and still comes out in great position to be able to intercept that pass. This is what we normally would see from veteran linebackers.
So this was a great play, but he wasn't done there because he had one more interception later in the game. All right, so here's what I like about Mack Wilson's second interception. It was different. We're talking about a short zone. He's not matched up with the running back, but it still showed really good instincts. And the thing I love about it most is the NFL is really one here, middle of the field, and that's what he is taking away. We see linebackers get beat and have routes going behind them all the time. But Mack Wilson's going to pick one off.
There's no doubt. I mean, we saw him get the interception in man-to-man coverage, and now you could see when is in the center of the field, he has great instincts of understanding how to help everyone else who's in man-to-man coverage. If you roll it here, you'll see they are in a primary man-to-man coverage. He doesn't have anyone to cover, so he drops to that middle portion of the field. He plays the ball well by high-pointing it and coming down with it for a second interception of the game. Look at him, read the eyes of the quarterback, helping other defenders over the middle of the field. He's playing this like a free safety. Look at that great catch, great extension. So 2 interceptions in the game. Think about it. He and Greedy Williams, 2 rookies, they account for 3 interceptions in their first preseason game. If that's not helping a Brown secondary that was ranked near the bottom of the league last year, this is really important because you have rookies coming in making an immediate impact.
Especially a guy like Wilson coming in the 5th round.
Wow.
He came in with some question marks. We were even a little low on him. Again, it's only one game, but
Changed
if Mack
our minds.
Wilson, if he's changing my mind right now with these 2 plays, athleticism, coverage ability, and instincts. Mack Wilson, the player of the week on the defensive side of the ball, essentially, in preseason week 1. Maybe a steal for the Cleveland Browns.
Thanks for watching the PFF YouTube channel, and if you want to subscribe, all you have to do is push the button. Don't forget everything you get. A little fantasy, push the button. A little green line for the gambling aspects of the game, push the button. College football, push the button. The YouTube channel from PFF.